In this shorty episode, I'm going to share all the things you don't have to do just because you're having a baby. Welcome to the All About Pregnancy and Birth podcast. If you're having a baby in the hospital, you are giving birth in a system that too often takes away power from women over what happens in their own bodies. I'm Dr. Nicole Calloway Rankins, a practicing board-certified OBGYN who's had the privilege of helping well over 1,000 babies into this world. I've been a doctor for over 20 years, and I'm here to help you take back your power, advocate for yourself, and have the beautiful pregnancy and birth that you deserve. This podcast is for educational purposes only, and it's not a substitute for medical advice. Check out the full disclaimer at drnicolerankins.com/disclaimer. Now let's get to it. Hello there. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Whether this is your first time listening or you've been here before, I'm so glad you're spending some of your time with me today. In these short episodes that release on Thursday, I talk about a topic, share a story, share something that is on my mind. And today I am going to share with you all the things you ain't got to do that social media sometimes says you have to do just because you're having a baby. Now, one thing I do have to do is share this lovely review that someone gave me in Apple Podcast. This is from Brianna Kraus, and she says, "Thank you. This podcast has given me the answers I never had after a severe postpartum hemorrhage that nearly took my life. I was so confused, and my doctor was extremely vague. I had lost 3 liters of blood and had to have 4 transfusions to restore my blood count, as well as 3 surgeries. And because of a failed procedure, I nearly needed to have my uterus removed. I'm so thankful for doctors like you to provide information that can seriously help save lives. I listened to one episode 6 times, and it helped me to know what I needed to say to future doctors. Thank you." Well, thank you so much for that lovely review and letting me know. I am so glad that you found the information helpful to gain some clarity, not only about what happened to you in the past, but to help you be empowered going forward. That is exactly what I am here for. And I would love to hear what you think about the show as well. So head on over to Apple Podcast and leave me that honest review in Apple Podcast. I would so appreciate it. And you may get a shout out on a future episode. So let's talk about the things you don't have to do just because you're having a baby. Social media can make you feel like there are all these things that everyone is pregnant has to do. And the first one we're going to talk about is a fancy maternity photo shoot. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a beautiful photo shoot and the long flowy dresses and out in the fields and being all made up and, cuddling the belly, all of those things. Some of those things can be absolutely beautiful. But if that is not you, then don't feel like you have to spend tons of money on a fancy maternity shoot. If you want to, great. But if you don't want to, don't feel like you have to. I do think you should document your pregnancy journey. That's something that I wish I did. I wish I had a lot more pictures of when I was pregnant. I don't have a whole lot of pictures. So you do want to document your pregnancy journey, whether that's a picture every month or however you want to do that. But you don't have to do a fancy maternity shoot. Today's cell phone cameras are excellent. You can get a friend with a cell phone. You can get dressed up, get some makeup on, and take some really great pictures. So you don't have to do that fancy maternity shoot. The next thing you ain't got to do is a gender reveal party. Gender reveal parties are relatively new. Back in the day when I was having children, and this wasn't that long ago. I mean, my children are 14 and 16. There weren't really gender reveal parties. So this is a new thing, I would say, within the last probably like 5 to 10 years or so. And you don't have to do a gender reveal party. Or if you do, it ain't got to be rockets shooting across, the backyard. As a matter of fact, these gender reveal surprises have been the source of like injuries and crazy things happening. So you don't have to do a complicated gender reveal party. You can do a simple cake or the little confetti things. It doesn't have to be complex, or you don't have to do a gender reveal party at all. It's not something that has to be done. Okay. So gender reveal party is the next thing that you don't have to do. Let's talk about something most pregnant women aren't getting enough of: omega-3 DHA. The recommendation is over 200 milligrams a day, but less than 5% of pregnant women in the US meet that. That's one of the reasons I love Ritual's Essential Prenatal. It has 350 milligrams of vegan DHA plus other key nutrients like methylated folate and choline to support baby's neural tube development. As an OBGYN, I appreciate that Ritual goes beyond the basics. The formula is science-backed, third-party tested for heavy metals and microbes, and every ingredient is traceable. And the delayed release design, it's gentle on the stomach, something that really matters, especially if there's trouble with nausea during pregnancy. You deserve to know exactly what you're putting into your body, especially when it comes to prenatal multivitamins. And with Ritual's dedication to traceable science and sourcing, you always will. See for yourself with 25% off your first month at ritual.com/Dr. Nicole. Start Ritual or add Essential Prenatal to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/Dr. Nicole for 25% off your first month. All right. Number 3 is a baby moon. You see things like, oh, are you taking a baby moon? Or are you doing a baby moon? And a baby moon is basically just a vacation that you and your partner take before the baby comes. And actually, a baby moon can be a great thing. It can be a great thing to help you and your partner connect before the baby comes. So I'm not saying you shouldn't take a baby moon, but I don't want you to think that a baby moon has to be a big trip. Like sometimes people are like, oh, I'm going to Jamaica, or I'm going to, the islands or France or whatever, a big international thing. You don't necessarily have to do that. If you want to, fine. That's great. That's wonderful. But a baby moon can be something as simple as you go to a nice hotel in your city for a night or two and just connect with each other. So it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Again, if you want to do it big, you can, but don't feel like you have to. Don't feel like you have to stretch yourself or do something other than what you are typically comfortable with just because like it's seen on social media or people keep asking you why you're not doing something. Okay. Number 4 is you don't have to use those traditional colors of pink and blue. I think this is less of a problem these days. I think people are definitely more open to using or seeing non-traditional colors. I am not a big pink fan, so for neither of my girls, I had no pink. Their nurseries were tan and green. And I think we had yellow. And I mean, they wore some pink stuff, of course, because people bought stuff, but we didn't have like pink. Now, if you love pink or if you love blue and you want to be traditional, go for it. But don't feel like you have to. I think where this can come into play is like family members, older family members are like, well, why isn't the baby wearing pink? Why isn't the baby wearing blue? And you don't have to do that. There are like 50 million bazillion other colors in the rainbow. Use whatever colors you want, whatever you like, whether that's for clothes, whether that's for the nursery. You ain't gotta use the traditional colors of pink and blue. Okay, couple more things. You don't have to buy all the things. Oh my gosh, when you get pregnant and you start looking at stuff and websites and the tracking and, stuff starts showing up in the mail, it makes you feel like you gotta buy like this. You gotta buy this toy. You gotta buy this gadget. You gotta buy this warmer. You gotta buy this, the thing, that thing, every other thing. Okay. And you really don't need to buy all the things. Your baby just needs diapers, some wipes, some onesies, a place to sleep. You don't have to buy a ton of stuff when you're pregnant or for the baby. And when you're pregnant, you don't have to buy a lot of maternity clothes either. I personally used a whole lot of recycled maternity clothes. I borrowed like a bunch of maternity clothes from one of my good friends. So definitely like recycle those things, reuse them. You know, you don't have to spend a ton of money on fancy maternity clothes or fancy toys or fancy things for the baby. Use some recycled things. Maybe somebody has a high chair that you can use. Maybe somebody has a stroller that's still in good condition that you can use. So think about recycling and reusing things, whether that's from friends or definitely between pregnancies, because this stuff can get expensive. So if you can save some of that money for other things, then by all means do it. And then the final thing I will say that you ain't got to do is an unmedicated birth. Don't get me wrong. I love a fantastic unmedicated birth. It's absolutely lovely, but it's not for everyone. And I think we see a lot on social media like, oh, you know, natural birth. We want to do natural. Everybody's pushing natural birth, and that's fine. But if you don't want to do it, then that is also fine too. If you know you are someone who is like, listen, I want the epidural ready as soon as I get to the hospital, that is totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. It is really your choice. Do whatever works for you. Don't feel pressure to do something or like you have to do something just because someone else says that that's the thing that you should do. Do what works for you. Now, one thing I will say that everybody absolutely has to do is a birth plan. A birth plan helps you have the birth that you want. I teach you the way to make a birth plan the right way. And you can check out my free class, Make a Birth Plan the Right Way, at drnicolerankins.com/birth plan. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Make sure you head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave me that review and rating in Apple Podcast. I would so appreciate it. And I would love to read that review on an upcoming episode. So that's it for this episode. Do come on back next week and remember that you deserve a beautiful pregnancy and birth.